You'll fade into nothing, Marcus. The words had hit Marcus Callahan like a punch to the chest. He stared at the text on his cracked phone screen, the glow illuminating his tired face. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, his ex-wife, Victoria, lounged in her Los Angeles mansion, sparkling champagne in hand, beside her new husband, a tech billionaire who owned islands most people only saw on postcards. And here he was, Marcus, 52 years old, drawing blood in a cramped community clinic in Dayton, Ohio, making $18 an hour, feeling invisible. Yesterday, though, everything changed. A voice on the phone said, "We've been looking for someone like you for over a decade. Only 9 people in the world carry this. Your blood, your genetics, is exactly what we need." Marcus sank into his chair, stunned, heart pounding. The same hands Victoria had mocked as working class were now signing papers that made CEOs fly across the country to meet him. The man she thought would be forgotten was suddenly indispensable. He remembered Victoria. 24 years of marriage, a life measured in appearances and wealth she never had. She met Henry Blackwood at a charity gala, and Marcus realized too late she wasn't in love. She was scouting a better life. By the time he noticed, she had taken everything. The house, the savings, even the family's trust, leaving him with debts and loneliness. The messages had begun soon after their divorce, dripping with spite. "Henry just bought me a Porsche. How's the Civic running? Monaco is breathtaking this week. Remember Florida? And last month, the one that haunted him. You'll fade into nothing, Marcus." He almost believed it. Who wouldn't? His daughter barely returned his calls. His son spoke out of obligation. He was alone, and his life seemed small. Until a routine blood test revealed something extraordinary. Scientists called it X47B, a rare genetic trait held by only 9 people on Earth. Marcus was the 10th. Suddenly, his work at the blood clinic, his quiet, unnoticed life, everything became meaningful. The same veins Victoria had called worthless were now priceless. Life at 52 didn't feel like survival anymore. He woke at 5:30 in his modest apartment above a deli, the aroma of fresh bread and roasting meats mixing with antiseptic from his scrubs. Coffee in a chipped mug, wheat toast without butter, bills stacking higher than his confidence. But now he carried hope, and the world wanted him. Marcus Callahan, forgotten no longer. If you love real emotional stories, hit subscribe. We post one every day. Then it's down to my 2000 Honda Accord, the one with the peeling vinyl seats and a stereo that only picks up AM. The drive to Riverside Blood Center takes 17 minutes if the traffic lights cooperate. The clinic sits in a strip mall between a tax office and a dry cleaner. I've been there 11 years, but the last 3 felt endless. That's what it does to you when life drains you from the inside out. I handle roughly 60 blood samples a day, each tube holding someone's story, someone's worry, someone's hope for good news. I treat each one with careful precision, a professional detachment that has become my shield against feeling too much. My supervisor, Lillian Hayes, is a kind woman who never lets pity show too obviously. She's 57, divorced, and managed to keep her home, her dignity, and a strong relationship with her children. She often finds me in the lab early, already sorting through 3 samples before the official start. "Marcus, you know there's no overtime for coming in this early," she said last week. "I know. Just couldn't sleep," I muttered. She gave me that look, one that silently says, "I understand, but I won't pry." It's the language of the divorced and discarded. The break room at Riverside is fluorescent lit and unflattering. I eat lunch there at exactly 12:15 every day. Turkey sandwich, apple, water. I read medical journals while I eat, not out of ambition, but because it's better than scrolling through Victoria's posts. She kept me on her social media, I think, so I could see the life I'll never have. Photos from charity events, snaps of her and Henry on yachts, meals at restaurants that cost more than my weekly groceries. My son, Ryan, 27, works at a tech startup in Seattle, does well, engaged to Claire, a woman from the kind of family Victoria respects. Victoria poisoned his view of me subtly, deliberately. "Your father chose comfort over ambition," she told him. "He settled for less when he could have done more." Ryan hasn't called in nearly a year. The last conversation was paperwork to remove me from an old account, polite, detached, a task to check off. Bethany, my daughter, tries harder. She's 24, Finishing graduate school for social work. Has Victoria's looks, but her grandmother's heart. She calls every Sunday at 2 o'clock. The talks shrink over time. 20 minutes, then 15, now barely 10. How do you talk when your days repeat? How's work, Dad? Fine. Eating well? Yes. Seeing anyone? No. Honestly, I haven't dated since the divorce. What could I say? Hi. I'm Marcus, 52, live above a deli, drive a car older than your nephew, and my ex-wife is married to a billionaire with 3 companies. Want to share an appetizer? Weekends are the hardest. Saturdays, laundry at the laundromat, groceries at the discount store, clean an apartment that barely needs it. Sundays, Riverside Park. Families play, couples walk dogs, kids toss frisbees. I sit on a bench like every other middle-aged man, invisible, part of the scenery. My father's Timex watch is my only treasure, valuable only to me. He wore it for decades at the auto plant before cancer took him. Work hard, stay honest. Life rewards you, he used to say. I still wear it. Even as it loses minutes daily, even as I wind it each morning. It reminds me that sometimes, life doesn't follow the rules we're taught. This was my world before everything changed. A quiet life, measured in blood vials, sandwich lunches, unreturned calls, and rejected credit cards. I was exactly what Victoria said I was, a man nobody remembered, living a life no one noticed, processing other people's blood while mine carried a secret worth more than all of Henry Blackwood's fortune combined. It started on a Tuesday that felt like any other. April 9th, mandatory employee health screening at Riverside Blood Center. Policy required annual blood work for all staff to ensure we were safe handling the supply. I'd done it 11 times before, just another routine, another forgettable year. I drew my own blood that morning like I always did, needles sliding in with ease. Label the vial, scan the barcode, place it in the centrifuge with the rest. Marcus Callahan, ID 5532, one tube among dozens spinning quietly. The lab computer, old but dependable, ran standard panels and flagged anomalies. That afternoon, while reviewing the batch, I noticed it. Yellow alert on my sample. Not red. No immediate danger, but unusual. A protein marker I had never seen before. Rh null variant X47b detected. In 15 years of handling thousands of samples, I had never seen this. I checked our lab manual. Nothing. Pulled the FDA database. No hits. Our medical journals, research portals, nothing. Everything okay? Lillian asked, passing my station. Just a weird reading on one sample, I said, keeping my voice neutral. Not mentioning it was mine. Normally, this would have ended there. Flag for the medical director, move on. But something kept me at the bench after hours. Maybe it was the emptiness waiting at my apartment. Maybe it was curiosity, the first spark of it I'd felt in years. I reran my sample at 6 p.m. when the center was empty. Same result. X47b, unmistakable. I expanded my search beyond standard databases, medical journals, genetics papers, university studies. Hours passed. The cleaning crew came and went. My eyes stung, but I kept going. At 11:35 p.m., I found it. A tiny mention in a Swiss medical journal from 2019, tucked in a footnote about rare blood anomalies. X47b carriers have unique antibody profiles, research limited by scarcity of subjects. The footnote led to another study behind a paywall. Using the blood center's access, I opened it. Japanese research team. Only 9 confirmed X47b carriers worldwide. Potentially revolutionary for pharmaceuticals, commercial value immense. My hands shook. Coffee tipped over, dark liquid seeping across my notes. Commercial value immense. The words burned on the screen. Another search brought me to the Castellano Institute for Genetic Research. Their site was minimal, almost secretive. Clean white background, no flashy graphics. At the bottom of a research page, a single line. Institute maintains active interest in locating X47b carriers for critical medical research. Substantial compensation available for qualified participants. Beneath it, a phone number. I stared at it until my eyes blurred. It was past midnight. The lab was silent except for the hum of refrigeration units storing tomorrow's samples. My phone buzzed, a message from Victoria sent earlier. Henry is flying us to Rome tomorrow. Private jet, naturally. Remember when you thought business class was a splurge? Some people are meant for big things. Others aren't. The cruelty of her timing felt like fate mocking me. Here I was, discovering something extraordinary about myself, and she reminded me I was insignificant. I stared at the phone number again. What if this was nothing? What if X47b was just a rare but insignificant blood variation, interesting scientifically, but without value? And yet, what if it wasn't? I thought about Ryan's engagement party next month, the one I wasn't invited to. I thought about Bethany's graduate school debt that I couldn't help with, the stack of overdue bills on my kitchen counter, the emptied retirement account from the divorce, the 2 decades ahead of me just to scrape by. My father's old Timex ticked steadily on my wrist, losing time like always, yet marking each second as I made my decision. I scribbled the phone number on my hand with a Sharpie, like a teenager afraid of losing a crush's digits. Packed up my things, locked the blood center behind me, and drove home through empty streets. Sleep didn't come. In my narrow apartment above the always bustling deli, I lay awake listening to the hum of the neighborhood, the voices of people with problems smaller than mine. The number on my hand seemed to pulse with possibility. Tomorrow, I would call. Tomorrow, I would find out if my blood was my curse or my ticket. Morning came with a storm, a reflection of my nerves. I sat in my Honda during lunch break, parked behind the center where no one would notice. The Sharpie number had smeared, but was legible. My sandwich sat untouched on the passenger seat while raindrops hammered the windshield. I dialed 3 times before letting it ring. Castellano Institute, Dr. Navarro speaking. The voice was precise, alert, as if she had been waiting for this call. My name is Marcus Callahan. I saw your research on X47b carriers. I have it. Tested positive yesterday during our staff screening. Silence. Then the creak of a chair, fingers clattering over a keyboard. Mr. Callahan, where are you calling from? Dayton, Ohio. Riverside Blood Center. I ran the test myself yesterday. You work at a blood center? Her voice shifted, excitement now audible. Can you send me the lab results immediately? Email access. Yes, but I need to understand first what this means. Mr. Callahan, I'll be upfront. If your results are correct, you're one of only 10 people in the world with this genetic marker. We've been seeking additional carriers for 15 years. I need to verify your results, and if they check out, I need to meet you today. Today? You don't even know where I am. If confirmed, I'll be on a plane to Dayton within the hour. This is critical. My hand shook as I sent the email with screenshots of the results. I watched her receive it in real time, heard her sharp intake of breath. Oh my God, she whispered, losing professional composure. Don't leave. I'm sending our legal team. We'll be there by 3. The next 3 hours passed in a surreal haze. I tried to work, but my hands trembled so badly I almost dropped 2 vials. Lillian noticed. Marcus, you look like you've seen a ghost. Everything okay? Personal matter. Might need to leave early, I mumbled. At 2:45, a black SUV pulled into the lot. 3 people emerged. A woman in her 50s with sharp gray eyes and hair pulled into a tight bun, a younger man in an expensive suit with a briefcase, and a woman with an iPad snapping pictures of the building. Dr. Elena Navarro approached, exuding the intensity of someone who'd spent her life chasing the impossible. She shook my hand with both of hers, studying my face as if committing every detail to memory. Mr. Callahan, this is Jonathan Pierce, our chief legal counsel, and Dr. Meredith Lynn, my research partner. Can we speak somewhere private? I led them to the conference room we used for staff meetings about budget cuts and minor policy updates. Lillian peeked from her office, eyes wide. In 11 years, Riverside had never seen visitors arrive in vehicles worth more than our annual budget. Dr. Navarro spread documents across the table while Pierce set up a laptop. Dr. Lynn unpacked medical instruments I recognized, but had never seen outside research hospitals. Mr. Callahan, I need to verify your blood type first, Dr. Lynn said. May I draw a small sample? I nodded, rolling up my sleeve. She worked with the precision of someone who'd done this 1,000 times, but the care of someone handling something precious. The rapid test confirmed it. Positive for X47b, she announced. Dr. Navarro leaned forward. Mr. Callahan, let me explain. X47b carriers produce antibodies capable of treating multiple genetic disorders affecting millions globally. Childhood leukemia variants, rare muscular dystrophies, and a fatal neurological condition. all potentially treatable now because of your blood. She brought up a presentation on the laptop, charts and data spinning my head. The other 9 carriers were already under contract. 8 were contributing to treatments that had generated billions. The 9th, discovered last year in Brazil, triggered a bidding war that made international medical news. A bidding war? I whispered, voice shaking. Pierce opened his briefcase. Mr. Callahan, the Castellano Institute is ready to make you an immediate offer. We want your participation exclusively before other institutes discover you. How do I know I couldn't call them myself? Dr. Navarro smiled. You could, but we found you first. Others gave up. We've invested 15 years and millions searching for someone like you. Our extraction and synthesis process is the most advanced, our facilities unmatched. The compensation package reflects the value of what you carry and our gratitude for finding you. She nodded to Pierce, who placed a contract before me. The number at the top made the room spin. The fluorescent lights suddenly seemed blinding. This can't be real, I managed. Mr. Callahan, Dr. Navarro said gently, what you carry could save thousands of children, and we're willing to compensate you accordingly. The numbers floated off the page. $3.2 million annual retainer, $50,000 per monthly donation, lifetime medical coverage, relocation assistance, stock options, and rights to any drug developed from your antibodies. I stared until Dr. Navarro touched my arm lightly. Are you all right? This says $3.2 million per year. Yes. Monthly donations add another $600,000. There's also the signing bonus. Pierce flipped to page 3, $5 million payable on contract execution. The words blurred as tears threatened, but I refused them. Not here. Not with strangers holding my future like this, I whispered. I need to sit down. The chair felt unreal, as if moving too fast might shatter everything. Mr. Callahan, Dr. Navarro pulled her chair closer. I know this is overwhelming, but you need to understand. The last X-47B carrier we lost went to a competitor. Their antibodies created a treatment that earned $4 billion the first year. Children could have been helped sooner, families given hope earlier. That responsibility haunts me. My phone buzzed. Victoria again. Ryan said you're skipping his engagement party. Probably for the best. Henry's friends would ask what you do, and blood bank technician isn't dinner conversation. I turned my phone face down and met the 3 sets of eyes on me. The intensity should have been intimidating, but it wasn't. They needed me. For the first time in my life, someone genuinely needed what only I could provide. How does this work? I asked. Dr. Lin explained. It's similar to plasma donation. You come to our facility once a month. The process takes about 2 hours. Your body replenishes the antibodies naturally. No risk to your health. In fact, with our monitoring, you'll be healthier than ever. Where's your facility? We have several, she said. The closest to you is Chicago, but we can relocate you wherever you feel comfortable. Most of our carriers choose San Diego. San Diego. Perfect weather. A modern facility. 3,000 miles away from Victoria's poison, from the smell of the deli below my apartment, from the pitying looks at work. What about my job here? I asked. Lillian knocked at that moment, peering through the glass. Concern etched her face. Marcus, is everything okay? Do you need anything? I might be putting in my notice, I said. Her eyes flicked to the suited strangers, the spread documents, the medical equipment. Understanding dawned. Marcus, she said firmly. Whatever this is, you take it. You hear me? You take it and run. After she left, Pierce slid another document toward me. Confidentiality agreement. Once you sign the main contract, the news will eventually leak. For now, discretion is critical. I picked up the pen, heavier than any pen I'd ever held, silver with the Castellano Institute logo engraved on its side. My hand shook as I signed the NDA. Dr. Navarro looked at me. The main contract, Marcus, once you sign this, I'll make a call. Within 30 minutes, $5 million will be in your account. By tomorrow, you'll have access to top medical care. By next week, if you choose, a new home in San Diego, beginning a new chapter. And the people this helps? I asked. Every patient, with consent. You'll receive updates on the treatments developed from your donations. You'll know whose lives you're changing. I thought about my father, dying in a hospital bed, apologizing that he couldn't leave me more than a watch and his work ethic. I thought about Bethany, brilliant and compassionate, limited by student loans I couldn't help with. I thought about Ryan, lost to me because I couldn't compete with Henry's wealth and influence. And then I thought of the children I'd never meet, dying from conditions my blood could cure. I need to make one call first, I said, stepping into the hallway and dialing Bethany. Dad, it's the middle of the day. Is everything okay? Bethany, remember when you were 7 and asked if miracles were real? Dad, you're scaring me. I told you miracles were just science we didn't understand yet. Sweetheart, I just found out I'm carrying one in my blood. Something in my blood that can save lives, and they're going to pay me for it. Really? Pay you? Dad, what are you talking about? I can't explain everything now. But Bethany, everything's about to change. Your loan's gone. That program you wanted to expand, funded. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, I can finally give it to you. I could hear her crying softly. Dad, just be careful. I love you. Call me tonight. I returned to the conference room, picked up the heavy silver pen, and signed my name on the line that would transform me from Marcus Callahan, forgotten blood center technician, to Marcus Callahan, the man whose blood could save the world. Dr. Navarro immediately pulled out her phone. This is Elena. Authorization code Delta 77. Execute Callahan account. Full signing bonus. Immediate transfer. 30 seconds later, my phone buzzed with a bank notification. The number was so large the automated system flagged it as unusual activity and asked me to confirm it wasn't fraud. $5 million in my checking account that had held $73 that morning. I gripped the table to keep from collapsing. 6 months have passed since I signed that contract, and now I'm standing on the balcony of my San Diego home, watching the Pacific shift colors under the sunset. It's not a mansion like Henry Blackwood's. I didn't want one. A simple 3-bedroom house with a view that reminds me every morning that life can surprise you when you least expect it. The Castellano Institute built their collection facility 20 minutes away. Once a month, I drive there in my new truck. Nothing flashy, just reliable and fully paid in cash. The donation takes 2 hours. I recline in a comfortable chair while my blood flows through a machine that separates the antibodies. Dr. Lin always supervises personally. You're the easiest donor we've ever had, she says. Probably because I spent 11 years on the other side of the needle. The first child helped by my antibodies was named Emma, 7 years old from Nebraska, diagnosed with a genetic disorder that had already taken her ability to walk. Her mother sent me a video last week, Emma running, laughing, scoring 2 goals in a soccer game. Her joy could light a city. I've watched it 43 times. Ryan called me 2 months after the news about my contract spread. Word travels fast in pharmaceutical circles. Roland heard about it first. Dad, I heard about your work with the Institute. Mom says you're exaggerating. Your mother says a lot of things, Ryan. But yes, it's true. Can we talk in person? He flew out the next week. We sat on the balcony for hours while I explained everything. He cried when I showed him the letters from families whose children were receiving treatments. When he left, he hugged me for the first time in 3 years. I'm sorry, Dad. Mom made it sound like you failed. You were just waiting for your moment. Bethany graduated last month, debt-free. I paid off her loans the day after my signing bonus hit. She's starting a nonprofit for genetic testing in underprivileged communities. The Callahan Foundation, she's calling it. I pretend I don't tear up every time she mentions it. The Blood Center received an anonymous $1 million donation for new equipment and staff bonuses. Lillian called me crying. Marcus, I know this was you. I don't know what you mean. Thank you. The equipment will save lives. Blood always saves lives, Lillian. Sometimes it just takes a while to realize it. Victoria sent 17 texts the first week after the news broke. From disbelief to anger to desperate bargaining. We were married 24 years, Marcus. California is a community property state. I'm entitled to half. My lawyer, hired by the Institute, replied with a reminder. She had signed away all future claims in exchange for her divorce settlement. She'd wanted a clean break, and she got it. Roland's empire isn't as solid as it looks. His companies are leveraged, struggling. The irony that my blood will generate more revenue than his entire portfolio isn't lost on me. Victoria's latest text last week was different. Marcus, I was wrong. We could try again. I deleted it without reading twice. Some blood types just aren't compatible. Here's what I've learned in these 6 months. The lesson that matters more than money or vindication. We all carry something valuable inside us. Each person has something unique that could change the world. Most never discover it. I was lucky. A routine test revealed my gift. But I think about the people walking around with their own X-47B equivalent, their own hidden superpower, their own chance to save lives or alter history. And they'll never know. They'll die believing they were ordinary, invisible, worthless. My father was wrong when he said honesty and hard work would always be rewarded. Sometimes they aren't. Sometimes you can do everything right and still lose everything. But he was right about one thing. He used to say, "Everyone has a purpose, Marcus. Some people just take longer to discover it." At 52, working at a blood center, divorced and overlooked, I finally found mine. It had been flowing through my veins all along, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Now 37 children are receiving treatments derived from my antibodies. By next year, it will be hundreds. By the end of the decade, thousands. Victoria was wrong about one thing above all. I will not be forgotten. I'll live on in the lives I've saved, the families I've healed, the futures I've made possible. My blood will endure beyond me, synthesized and replicated, curing children not yet born from diseases we're just beginning to understand. That's the thing about blood. It speaks the truth about who we are, even when we don't yet understand ourselves. And sometimes, if you're very fortunate, that truth is worth more than all the money in the world. My name is Marcus Callahan. I'm 52 years old, a former blood center technician whose ex-wife married a billionaire and predicted I'd fade into nothing. Instead, I became something she never expected, unforgettable. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear that their worth isn't measured by a paycheck or a title. Like this video if it inspired you, and leave a comment about a time life surprised you with an unexpected gift. Subscribe to our channel for more stories about ordinary people discovering their extraordinary potential. That's the truth of it. We're all carrying something remarkable. Sometimes it just takes time to realize what it is.